Hey, this is Jack, and this video is called If He Wants a Relationship, He'll Do These 3 Things. Hey, if you're new here or you haven't yet subscribed, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. My name's Jack Butler. I'm a dating and authenticity coach, and I release at least 2 new videos every week on relationships and personal growth. This is kind of the real stuff on this channel. It's not gimmicks, it's not tips or tricks. It's really how do you become a more real human being, how do you bring your authenticity into relationship, and how do you find relationship if you haven't found that that's been a strong area of life for you. So I'd love to help you out. Click subscribe and you'll hear of new videos as soon as they come out. All right, I found this location this morning. I thought I'd got to shoot a video and share this with you. This is so beautiful. And let's get into today's video. So if he wants a relationship, he'll do these 3 things. Number 1, he'll have some skin in the game. He'll have some skin in the game. Now, this can show up differently in different contexts, but it really means that there's something on the line for him, right? That he actually wants the relationship enough that he's kind of anxious about it, or he's kind of nervous to lose it, or he's making an effort to show up and meet your friends and meet your family. It's like investment would be another way of saying it. But there's also an emotional component to this that I want to double click on, which is he's kind of excited that something good here may happen, right? So he's paying attention, he's showing up, right? Just when you get a new job and you want the job and you want to get through that probation period and you want them to hire you, there's a showing upness, there's something at risk, there's something on the line, and people can sense that in you. So take a moment, if you're dating a guy right now, and just sort of notice, is that present from his side? The second thing that you can pay attention to is calibration. Calibration, or I sometimes call this attunement. And this is how calibrated and attuned to you is he, right? Now, not all guys are the same in terms of their capacity to do this. But one area that I get lots of questions about that this does show up in is, what can I do if he's pushing to be sexual? And I want to suggest something to you, which is that the right guy, right, for you to actually get into a relationship with is unlikely to continually push you there. He may be clear in his desire, he may be clear that he wants it, but he's also going to be respectful of you and what you've got going on, right? And if that's something that you're saying, hey, yeah, I might be interested in that, but I'm not quite there yet, and you're kind of constantly feeling like he's sort of chafing at the bit to make that happen. In my experience, in my experience, okay, I'm getting wet now, loving this. In my experience, when that most happens, it's actually because the primary energy is sexual and the other components of relating, right, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and others, are maybe not quite so present. And once that energy has fulfilled itself, maybe the guy's not actually going to be super present ongoingly to you. Now, you don't actually have to make that a sinister thing, right? Sometimes that is just the sort of the truth of what the connection is. Your job, though, is to make a good discernment about that and to hold the right boundaries for you, right? Generally, the right guy doesn't become the wrong guy because you slow things down, right? So if you're like, yeah, actually I want to do that in timing that feels good with me, can we check back on that in a few weeks, or next time you stay over? It would be really great if he could hear you on that. And if he's not, and you sort of find like, hey, I'm the one that's constantly having to put the brakes on the relationship here, just stay curious about that. That could be some information that what's actually in front of you isn't a sober, grounded reality, that there's some other dynamic that's going on, right? That this may be more of a short-term thing, it may be more of a lovership than something that's going to stabilize out into a partnership. All right, and the third thing that he'll do if he wants a relationship, and you've heard me say this probably if you've watched other videos, is that he will continue to show up consistently. And I want to say something about this because having coached a bunch in this area, what I noticed was when I was using the word consistent, it was I wasn't having shared reality off the bat with my clients. So when I say consistent, I mean 6 to 9 months plus of him showing up in action in real time. Right? In real time, that dates are happening, that you guys are getting together, that there's probably some kind of progression into being in a relationship. You've got to often get through that first 3 months. There's a lot of guys are going to drop off in that first 3 months. And again, I've done videos about drop-off guys. We don't need to get too focused over there, right? All we need to know is that for you, the right guy is going to want to hang around for longer than 3 months. And so take your time, slow it down, get through those thresholds, have as minimum assumption and minimum story as things are unfolding. Just pay attention and ask the question, do you want the next date? 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 To the point where maybe at some point you're like, look, I just know I want the next date. Okay, great. But I'm not trying to make this something that it isn't. I'm enjoying the words of appreciation as they come my way. Thank you for complimenting me. Thank you for seeing my beauty or my radiance or my specialness. And, there's a reason they talk about 4 seasons, right? 4 seasons of being with someone before you settle down with them, because it's like there's more information, right? We can all be excited in spring, but what happens in the depths of winter? And you can take a similar approach when you're thinking about getting to know someone and being in relationship with them. Certain combinations create a lot of excitement at the beginning, right? Wow, this is amazing. We have these awesome conversations. We go so deep. It's so real. I told him my life story on the second date. You know what? Oftentimes I see those don't actually stabilize out as partnerships, right? They are more whirlwind romances. They are more kind of soul tribe, but not actually soul partner, right? Someone that you do share a worldview with, that you can share your past and perhaps things that have been difficult for you, but that is all present. And at the same time, it's not actually going to stabilize out into a partnership. So enjoy it. Enjoy the connection, but don't invest too much meaning. Don't invest too much future story about where it's going. I did an Instagram post recently, and it said, the best love story is the one that isn't a story, right? Just like, I was using this kind of simple metaphor, which people have actually used in much more complex theological arguments, but I'm borrowing it in this instance. What's better than imagining an ice cream? It's having an ice cream. Right, what's better than imagining or storyifying a future? It's actually walking into that future, right? That things are there after 6 months and 9 months. So there's a lot of information that you can gather in that time. Consistent doesn't mean he messages you consistently on Tinder. It doesn't mean he messages you consistently on OkCupid. It doesn't mean that you have a consistent text relationship if that's not manifesting in actually connecting and spending time together and being in relationship. So that's what I mean by consistent. That's what you can pay attention to. And if you've liked this video and you want more on this topic, I'm going to post up here a video with 4 things that he'll show if he wants to be in relationship. It's actually the most popular video I've ever put out on YouTube. So if you've not watched that, I encourage you to go check it out. And as always, thanks for being here. Leave me a comment below this video. And if you are in a relationship or getting to know a guy right now and you want some help ascertaining, is this guy showing up for this connection? Is it worth me investing more energy? Then click the first link beneath this video. It's my He's Your Guy checklist. It's been getting great feedback. It's been downloaded a ton of times now. It takes maybe 10 minutes to just run a guy through the 9 points of the checklist. And at the end, you'll have a better idea where you stand in terms of the investment you want to make. So just click the first link beneath this video. And as always, I'm Jack. Thanks for being here.